This is Volunteer Connection, and Volunteer Connection is the online system that the Red Cross uses to keep track of hours and help volunteers communicate between each other. Aside from your personal tracking of hours, say for example, you're the president of your high school Red Cross club, and if you're made a leader for your group on Volunteer Connection, what can you use Volunteer Connection for? So I'm going to go right now to my groups, and this is my group. So this is my group page, and these group pages are a convenient organizer and a great way to post updates, and this can be done in a few ways. So you see along the tabs here, there's calendar, news, discuss, notebook, tasks, online forums, files, photos, pages, and club events. Let's first take a look at calendar. So here is a basic calendar for events. So I'm going to show you an example of what a calendar filled with events looks like. So this was from March 2016. As you see, I've had a lot of events in this month, and I've color coded them. Blue stands for meetings that are after school. Red is for our local blood drive that we have in our town library. Purple is for other Red Cross events, such as a regional or just bigger organization Red Cross events. And brown is for school projects, other Red Cross projects that we have happening in our school. Light brown is one-time occurring events. And I'm just going to show you another month as well. So over here, there's another different color, and this is also a one-time event or special project. It's really easy to see what you have going on when you color code your events. To add an event, let's go back to September. To add an event, you simply left click on a date, and you can type the event name, as well as you can change the date from here, into the time, and make sure it's in this format. 2 digits, colon, 2 digits, AM or PM. You can choose if it's an all-day event, and then you can choose the color here. You can add a description of the event. And when you're done, hit save. Just wait a few seconds, and there's your event. So when you click on your event, you can see the event name, the description, and the time. And if you want to edit the event, you have to click on this green little E here, and that'll bring you to the edit menu. Another way to create an event is to go to Administrative Actions and click Add Event. Type in the event name. Select the date and time. Event topic, event contact, location, and description. You can set the maximum number of people allowed to sign up for the event. And here you can indicate the type of event. As it required, meaning as required for all your group members. RSVP, which will send out a link through email and ask volunteers if they would like to RSVP to an event, and also just information only. So we're going to choose RSVP. Enable hours. This function allows Volunteer Connection to automatically assign hours to a volunteer who attended or RSVP to an event, pending approval, of course. So let's say yes. Hours type, we're going to go to worked. Hour submission, so pending when date passed means after an event date passes, the people who RSVP to the event will be awarded hours, pending approval, of course. But Volunteer Connection will automatically fill out hours for those people. Pending when marked as attended and date passed means hours will be awarded or submitted for approval after an event has passed and after you mark the people who RSVP'd, who attended and who didn't, and the attended people would get the hour submission. You have the option to not send reminder emails for the event, and you also have the option to play with the days on which days before the event where Volunteer Connection would send a reminder. And you can send an invite now as well. So let's just click save. I'm selecting that just so I don't accidentally send out any emails. And there's your event. Now RSVP events will have a yellow cross sign, the yellow plus sign kind of over here. And that just means that people can RSVP to it. So will I be attending? Yes, I'll be attending. And I click save. So this page is essentially what the Volunteer Connection will send out to your members, and the members will get an email from Volunteer Connection. They click on the link and it'll bring them here where they can choose to say if they're attending or not. So I said yes, but down here it says admin, and here's another page that organizes your event. So here you can see the RSVPs, attendees, RSVPs who did not attend, group members who did not RSVP, and this is a good place to see who is doing what. You can add a reservation, say for somebody to say yes. You can edit the details. You can delete the event, download labels, download sign-in sheet, and here's the invitation URL, which is what group members would get if you sent out an email. So you can actually share this link through social media, like Messenger, through phone messages. You don't always have to send out an invitation through Volunteer Connection. But this link would bring you to the page where you can say if somebody's attending or not. And because I said I was attending, here is my information. Reservation, yes. Attended, no. So this is where after the event you would say, okay, this person attended, and then I would get the hours after the event date passes. So let's just delete this event. Alright, and here is a list of all the events on the calendar. So let's go back to my group. Other ways to post updates to your group is through the news and the discuss. So when you go to news is basically updates that you can post for people to see on the home screen. So if I go back to the home screen, here is the news. But if I want to make a new post, I go to new item. Here you can set the title, and you can set the start date time and the end date time. So how long it would show on the home page. And you can choose a file, and the group news, you can write whatever you want here. To view past news, you go down here and view past, or you can choose view all. And there you can see the past events, past news. Okay, another way you can update information on Volunteer Connection is going to the Discuss page. Discuss works kind of like a forum. So the difference between Discuss and News is that Discuss allows group members to post comments or respond to a post that you posted. News does not allow for any comments or discussions based on a post. So to create a new Discuss post, you click Add New, and you simply type in a subject and your details, and you add images. It's very similar to a forum. So now, I just want to point out one thing, is that if you go to the home page, make sure all your volunteers have clicked this button. Right now, I'm subscribed to Nightly Updates. I just unsubscribed. But make sure all your group members, all the people in your club, click this link. Click here to subscribe to Nightly Updates. And Nightly Updates is basically Volunteer Connection will send out an email the next morning to notify members of any changes from the day before. So volunteers won't get updates from anything you post in news or discussions, or if you upload a photo, or if you add an event, if they do not subscribe to Nightly Updates. So it's very important that members need to click that button. Now let's take a look at how you can improve hours. Over here on the right, go to Administrative Actions and click on Hours. So over here you can see a summary of all the hours that your group members have submitted. Now what I recommend doing is, if you can see the status of approved and unapproved hours. Right now, everything is approved. But usually, if there are unapproved hours, even from the most recent days to a couple months back, you want to make sure you know what's happening with approving and unapproved hours. So go to status and click it to filter the list. So here we have the status of all approved. And if I click it again, it's just all approved because all of these hours have been approved. But say this was unapproved, and it's easier just to filter out this way, so you have all the unapproved on top and then approved on the bottom, so you can see what is unapproved. So in order to approve an hour, I recommend going to View, but opening the link in a new tab. So then you go here and you can click Approved and then Save. This has already been approved. Oops, I clicked. The reason I opened it in a new link because sometimes after you click View and then you approve it, it reloads the page. So that means the filter's gone and it goes back to its default order, which may be unapproved, approved, unapproved, approved, and could be quite confusing to look at, especially with factoring in all the date. So you can filter by dates, name, activity, position, registration type, but status I find is the most useful in filtering out unapproved and approved hours, so you can easily go through unapproved ones one by one, and so you can keep track of what you're doing. Alright, you can also edit if there's a new member and they did something wrong. See, you would have to go back and then it would refresh the page, and you can delete as well. I invite you to explore all the tabs, but right now we're going to focus on the Files tab. So over here you can upload materials. See, as you see here, I have different folders containing different types of files that I've used throughout the year. Now be wary of all these controls on top and on the bottom. A parent category is basically what I have here, a big file, a big folder. So to create a new parent category or a new big folder, I click here. I'll choose test. And this is the annoying part. So in order to create a category, which is a smaller file within a big file, you have to first click on the big file and then do new category. Basically kind of a subfolder. And then as you click on that, you see my subfolder. So this is the thing. So always make sure you know what you're clicking on and what you're doing before you click on any of the actions. Make sure you know which one is highlighted, because you could say, for example, accidentally want to upload a file into test, but accidentally be on this, and then when you're just starting and there's no files in it and you don't see anything here, then you can accidentally upload the file into here rather than here, and even the subfolder. So make sure you know what's highlighted before you do anything to it, and always just check, make sure you don't accidentally upload a file or delete a file from another folder that you didn't want to delete. And you can view all, which expands all the folders, download all. You can rename, delete, move, and upload zip, upload file. So I'm going to delete this folder. So I first have to delete the subfolder in order to delete the folder, because if I just do that and I say delete, it says I have to remove all the entries of that big parent folder before I delete anything. So I go to test, I delete the subfolder, which is a category folder, but for clarification, I delete the subfolder, and now I delete. I think I have to reload the page. Yep, and sometimes you just have to reload the page. And then I'm going to delete the parent category. Yeah, but it's pretty useful for uploading any files or documents. You can also use this tab as passing on documents to the next year or the next club president. It's kind of like just have an online, almost like an online Google Drive for your club, if you will. Just an online database of files, useful files that you can use throughout the years. And so now let's go to photos. So photos is pretty useful if you just want to make a presentation, make a poster board. You can download photos and print them out. And this is, again, Volunteer Connection is great for storing things and organizing things. So here are all our photos. And if I want to upload photos, I have to click New Item. And here's the mass upload group photos. They give you 6 slots. You don't have to fill up all the slots to upload one file or how many files, but you only maximum upload 6 at a time. So this can be a little annoying if you want to upload, like just choose file and then like select like a bunch of files and upload them. You can't do that. You have to upload 1 photo at a time, 6 photos at a time. So that's a little annoying, but it does make sense when you're trying to caption them right now. Like you upload a photo, you caption it, upload a photo, caption, upload a photo, and caption. So it's a little cumbersome, but it works. It will upload the photos and you can see the captions. So for example, this is a photo and it's the caption. And you can go on to the next photo and the next photo. Alright, that's for photos. Now let's go to pages. So pages are basically just added extensions or added pages to your group homepage. So to add a page, you click here. And you can type in the page title, the text, and then sort order. You can include in navigation. Including in navigation is basically this drop down little menu when you hover over pages. And it's pretty useful because if you need to find something quick, you don't have to click on pages and then go find it. You can already hover and go straight to the page. And I use pages for general information or just useful information that it's not necessarily news. It's not necessarily something you need to discuss. It's just general info posted. And members can read the page through here. And you can choose the file and the images, and then you can hit save. So that's pages. And now one of the most underrated features of Volunteer Connection, online forms. So online forms is, if you've ever used Google Forms, it's kind of like that, but it's a little quirky and not as flexible seeming as Google Forms. So if a member goes to online forms, they can click on an online group form like Club Positions form and record their responses and go submit it. But to create a form and to manage your forms, you're going to have to click on the button Manage Forms. So click on Manage Forms. So here you can create a new form, delete forms, copy forms, edit forms, preview them, look at the submissions, view copies of submissions, and view data in Excel. So let's just create a new form. Give it a form name. A form category is basically a tag that you assign. It's kind of a label. It's just so that as you're looking, if you have a lot of forms, you're looking through them, what kind of form is it? And you can edit the categories. You can edit them, you can modify them, you can update, delete them. You can even add your own tag, as I like to call it, but they call it form categories. Alright, and this will, if one group member submits a form, then the following message will be shown. So I'm going to say thank you, and then save. Alright, here you go. And notice you don't have to have a category. Alright, so I'm going to edit my form. And each form has a number. Add a question. And here's are the question types. They have text for typing, selecting from a list of answers, like multiple choice almost, memo, date, time, and phone, email address, like contact information, number. You can ask the form completers to upload a file, or you can say single question with a checkbox, like do you verify all this information is true, and they can check yes. So let's just do a short free form text. This is a sample. This is not actually anything you have to fill out. It's just a sample of what this question is and what group members would see when they go try to fill out the form. Just an example. You don't have to do anything with that. But here's the actual question. So for this question, I'm going to say, what is your name? And notice you also have a lot of options within the text box. You can add files, images, and video. And then answering, make the question required. And question report name is also kind of a tag you assign to your questions. In case you have a lot of questions and at first glance you'll just see what the question is instead of like being short freeform text or you don't know what that is. So I'm going to say name, and that's my tag I kind of assigned for that question. And you can click save. And there it is. The question name is name, and this will ask any person who fills out the form what their name is. Now you can add text, which is the form will just display a text instead of asking a question. So I'm just going to write something, and if I save it, this text will appear after the question. So you can also look here where it says required question hidden, and you can change it and the sort order. But I've been having issues with this section, so my recommendation is that you know the exact content and order of your questions before you actually build your form. Like, just write down questions and write down their orders on a blank piece of paper, rearrange them to your liking, and then go ahead and build your form. Because as you'll see in a few moments, when I try to reorder the questions, it's not going to let me. So let's just build the form for now. And my form has been successfully created. So now let's try changing the sort order. So that should mean my text field is first, and then my name. I created a name question first, but I wanted it to be second. So I'm just going to build it. And nope, the name is still first, and the text field is still second. And I tried, like maybe I was hitting the wrong button, but I click refresh. And nope, name is still first, which is the first question we created, and text field is second. So basically, the form creator will only create questions in the order that you make the questions. So if you made the question first, it will be first. Make the question second or text field second, it will be second. You can't change this. So make sure you know the order and the content of your questions before you build your form. So now I can preview the form, and this is my form. I can say, and then my name, and then I'll submit. Alright, and this is the message that we typed in earlier. So now we go back. And go back again. And now if I look at my form again, in the submissions area, there's one submission, which I just did. But the awesome thing is that now you can look at all your submissions, what order they were, what date. You can view it, you can print it, you can see who submitted, you can email that person, you can change the status, and you can also write notes. Say, and you can even edit the submission and delete the submission. So that's just pretty cool to have a view of all your responses. So now let's take a look at using the group to send out a group email. So go to Administrative Actions and Email. So here you can send the email to all of the group members in your group, none of them, so you can select a few, and then hit Continue. You can start a new thread, select the style, put the subject, and then you can edit your signature, you can test the email, and then you can send the email. You can also attach attachments. And now I just want to show you the configuration or the settings for your group. So here you have all the permissions of what group members can and cannot do, and you can change them accordingly to your liking. And this is just for aesthetics, which I recommend you do. You can choose a file for your group logo, and you notice before that I had a giant photo for my group picture. And here's a group description. You can say welcome and give a short description yourself, just to make your page more welcoming and more friendly to the eye. I forgot to mention that if you go back into hours, there are a lot of tools at the bottom. You can add hours for a member, you can approve all of the hours, and you can get a summary report as well as export to Excel, and you can even run hours diagnostic as well. So if you click on summary report, Volunteer Connection will bring up a few statistics and a little graph showing who submitted hours, what time, and how frequently hours are being submitted. So this is just a nice little feature to see. So you see sometimes these buttons aren't as conspicuous as they should be, and that's just one of the things I recommend you do, to always explore Volunteer Connection and its features. There's a lot of hidden gems of features, and it's sometimes very quirky and annoying to use, but if you use it well, I guarantee you it'll be worth it, and it'll be very beneficial to organizing and also posting updates and communicating to your group. Thanks for watching.